From lying about her upbringing to her connection to Diddy, here's the most embarrassing times Jennifer Lopez got busted for lying. Now last year, Jennifer Lopez was called out online after the release of her documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. In the doc, she talks about her life and upbringing, but many people called her out for lying about that part of her life. In one scene, Jennifer poses in the mirror of her personal gym as she shakes out her hair and reminisces about her childhood in the Bronx. I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy little girl who used to be effing wild and no limits, all dreams. Now people who knew J.Lo growing up though called her out. TikTok user Photos by Angela slammed the star in a series of videos as she claimed to have gone to the same Catholic high school and accused her of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said in a video, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." Now after this, fans began to dig up more videos and interviews where J.Lo wasn't honest about her upbringing. Another video that stands out is a conversation she had with Vogue in 2022. During the interview, she was asked about her upbringing in the Bronx, and she revealed what her regular order was at local bodegas. "Ham and cheese on a roll with an orange drink. If you know, you know," she said. But nobody in fact did know what she was talking about. "What the F is an orange drink?" one asked online, and I gotta agree. It seems like no one online really knows what she meant by an orange drink, and it's just weird. Then there's the plastic surgery claims. J.Lo has said time and time again that she hasn't had any procedures done, but some fans aren't buying it, and neither are plastic surgeons. In 2013, a plastic surgeon claimed that her face shows evidence of cosmetic procedures. Dr. Ahem Al-Ayubi tweeted, "These before and after pics of @JLo show many signs of #plastic surgery. Naturally pretty, but now looks amazing." Then Dr. Stephen Perlman, New York City facial plastic surgeon, is certain that Jennifer has had some help. "I believe she's had Botox because there are no lines on her forehead and there are no crow's feet, but she had it done previously," he said. J.Lo's appearance was also analyzed on the @surgeonmaid_curves Instagram account on February 4th this year, with the caption for its post saying, "We can't deny the plastic surgery, makeup, fillers, and/or Botox had a hand in her aging gracefully." And finally, one user on social media said, "My friend's dad used to go to high school with her in the Bronx, and he showed me her school pictures, and she looks very different. Nose job is undeniable." Now, J.Lo claims though that she's au naturel and that she uses olive oil on her face to help her skin look good. But many people are still skeptical of this. Aging is a normal process everyone goes through, but it seems like J.Lo defies the process, which can't be natural. Then there's the time she lied about getting a maid fired. Now J.Lo is known to be pretty rude to service staff, so when it was reported that she got a maid fired, it didn't really shock anyone. In 2012, Prey Doja was responsible for cleaning J.Lo's hotel room in Germany while she was there for her world tour. Prey explained that she was a fan of the star, so she tried to ask for an autograph, only to have two of J.Lo's assistants stop her. Now that sucks, but it is pretty reasonable. But what happened next wasn't. Prey was actually fired from her job the day after she asked for the autograph. She said, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone because of an autograph." Later on though, J.Lo herself denied the claims with one single tweet saying, "Come on, thought you knew me better than this, would never get anyone fired over an autograph. First I heard of this was on Twitter." But Prey has a different story, and I'm honestly more inclined to believe her. As we know, Jennifer Lopez has been in many relationships and married, but her first husband, Ojani Noah, has come out to tell the truth about the star and explain the real reason for the failure of their relationship. He has come out and blamed Sean Diddy Combs for his broken marriage with the singer and is accusing J.Lo of lying during their marriage. In an interview from 2024, he said, "Part of that divorce was Diddy's fault. When Sony came and paid her the million she got, there was Puffy, who was going to be one of the producers of several tracks on the first album on the 6. That's where the deception, the lies, the separation started. I was in Los Angeles opening my restaurant, and she was between Miami and New York working on the album. When I could, I would go be with her. There, in that distance, in that separation, was where the deception started, he added. Noah expressed in the interview that the broken marriage with J.Lo actually hurt his own chances at having a career. I would ask Jennifer, what did I do to you so that you have taken me to court? You have accused me, you have lied, you've created false things about me, and you have called several companies to throw me out and different television networks to not give me work. Why, if I have not done anything to you? Let her tell the truth, let her tell everything that happened, he added, according to page 6. Then it was exposed that she actually knew more about Diddy's situation than she's let on. J.Lo has remained silent when it comes to the charges against Diddy, including the one time she was arrested with him from an incident that happened in a nightclub. Suge Knight has stated that J.Lo was allegedly aware of Diddy's involvement in the 2001 nightclub incident, even though she and Diddy blamed rapper Shane for it, who was convicted, imprisoned, and later deported. He also spoke about J.Lo and Ben Affleck's divorce and how it had to do with Diddy as well. The FBI go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J.Lo doing this and J.Lo doing that. And they know the fact that J.Lo lied and said that the weapon was Shane's or whatever, and sent that man to prison, destroyed his life, and she knew it was Puffy's. Now he then claimed that the FBI must have found tapes of J.Lo admitting to knowing everything, and then they showed it to Ben. He said, "I'm quite sure they said, we want to show you some things about your wife," adding this after Ben then decided to separate from J.Lo. Now his claims can't be proven or verified yet, but he could very well be right. And speaking of the nightclub incident, Jennifer was caught lying about her age when they were questioned about what happened. Up until that point, Jennifer had said she was born in 1970, but she was actually born in 1969. Now, this is just strange because when most celebs lie about their age, it's usually a bigger number, but lying about just 1 year seems so weird. Now, Jennifer has not addressed this, so we don't know why she lied, but there are rumors though that she lied about her age to make the age cutoff for her role in the movie Selena, which just so happened to thrust her into the spotlight, or that she lied about it in school and then just stuck with the lie. Now I don't know, but it's honestly just very strange. J.Lo has also been caught multiple times lying about writing and even singing certain songs. After J.Lo signed to Sony Music, she dropped her debut album on the 6th in summer of 1999. Now one big hit from the album was If You Had My Love, but the song received backlash from R&B singer Shantae Moore, as she had a near identical song called If I Gave Love that was recorded a year prior in 1998. Now J.Lo also stole from Mariah Carey. Now Mariah spoke about it in her memoir and recalled when her music mogul ex-husband Tommy Mulata tried to sabotage her single release by giving a sample she had on her 2001 hit Loverboy to another female entertainer on their label whom I don't know, aka J.Lo. And finally, in 2005, Usher came out and claimed that J.Lo stole one of his songs he put to the side and was going to continue working on. Usher claimed that J.Lo's single, Get Right, is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song that he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect J.Lo to just take it." Now that is just straight messed up.
Jennifer Lopez can't seem to stay out of the spotlight. Desperate for validation, she stops at nothing to stay relevant, starting with her last album, This Is Me Now. 2024 was a horrible year for J.Lo because she single-handedly destroyed her own career with 3 back-to-back projects that cost her a whole bunch of money, like in the millions, and left her with nothing but bad reviews and cringeworthy moments to last literally a lifetime. This album could have had a lot of potential for greatness, especially since it's been like 10 years since her last studio album in 2014 titled AKA. Time is as strange as Jennifer Lopez's music career because I truly could not believe it has been like 10 years since her last album. There's a disconnect with this album though. This Is Me Now is geared towards people who know Jennifer Lopez's history far back enough to remember This Is Me Then. Because, you know, the only full circle thing about the album aside from its sound is that she was back with Ben Affleck Affleck. Now, that's kind of it. Had Jennifer had put all of the pieces together in a way which was a celebration of her and her music rather than just her relationship with Ben Affleck, it would have landed far better. Making the whole thing about Ben Affleck basically perpetuates an unfortunate, narrative that so much of what Jennifer Lopez has done over the years has centered on men or had a man in place of focus. From the jump, the singer reminds us on the album's title track that she took some, lefts kind of before landing right back in Affleck's arms. Now, Lopez stresses yet again on the feel-good single Can't Get Enough that she's still in love with Ben and tells haters on the hip-hop leaning, that this time around that nothing can be broken about the power couple now that they got, this do-over. So the entire album was focused around Ben, but many fans and critics alike were confused because she said this could potentially be her very last album, and so why not make it somewhat about yourself or your growth, your accomplishments, like anything? So all of this to say, the reviews for this album are generally mixed, with many praising, the personal and reflective nature of the lyrics, but criticizing the overly polished production and lack of depth, feeling it often comes across as like a bit too over the top and lacking genuine insight despite its intention to be, a very personal album. Many praised its kind of nostalgic sound and honest lyrics, but many criticized it for being superficial and just overly sentimental. One person on X said it's giving desperate for attention, with another person saying, "Is this how you want to go out?" All in all, obviously, she can't please everyone, but that was the starting point to something even cringier. So let's talk about her narrative-driven musical film that immediately followed This Is Me Now. Now, this is actually called This Is Me Now, a love story, which is directed by Dave Meyers and co-written by Lopez herself and Matt Walton. This Amazon MGM Studios release features an all-star cast including Fat Joe, Post Malone, Trevor Noah, Keke Palmer, Kim Petras, and two-time Oscar winner Jane Fonda. Now, as a narrative, the film is inspired by Puerto Rican folklore where Lopez's, modern-day character is trying to find her lover, whom she kind of lost centuries ago due to being, from like feuding tribes. Now, the funny thing about this film though is that Jennifer funded it entirely herself, like literally putting up $20 million to get this project funded. And despite people in her, inner circle telling her not to do it, she of course did it anyway. Now, this semi-autobiographical movie relies a lot on big metaphors and unsubtle imagery. Now, for example, in a dream sequence, Lopez's heart is represented by like a giant combustible apparatus, operated by dancing factory workers and fueled by rose petals. Now, the hour-long movie, opens with Lopez reciting the Puerto Rican myth of Alida and Teru, two star-crossed lovers from rival tribes. After Alida's father forbids their romance, Alida, prays to the gods for help, who then turn her into like a red flower. When Teru asks for the gods to help find Alida, he is transformed into like a hummingbird, leading him on like a continual search for his one true love. If you're fluent in the history of Bennifer and all of the tabloid scrutiny that followed the first round of their relationship, like I unfortunately am, you'll see where all of this is going. But before Lopez can reunite with her Prince Charming, we're taken on like a fantastical musical odyssey through her, tumultuous star-studded romantic history. It's a bit ironic, that the thing Lopez's character overcomes in this film, is like the need for external validation is what seems to be driving its existence. It's hard not to view the movie within the larger context of Hollywood, kind of failing to take her seriously as an actress, despite being one of the most kind of like bankable movie stars and, turning over some genuinely good performances throughout her career. The problem with Jennifer Lopez's self-funded, desperate attempt to be seen and I guess heard is that it came across a little too self-indulgent for many people watching, and many fans saying, she let her ego drive her to throw away $20 million on this flop when it could have been put to better use. Now, her reputation was further destroyed. She was like labeled yet again a narcissist, and one person hysterically pointed out that not only did she, embarrass herself, but like she paid $20 million to embarrass herself. Another person said she could have given like a free show on the block she claims she's always from and donated the money to like schools, shelters, communities, etc., wherever basically. Another person pointed out that she's just another like perfect example of rich people who just have like way more money than sense. Jennifer said her biggest inspiration actually came from her rekindled relationship with Ben Affleck, as we know, and a book that he had given her on their first Christmas back together, which was basically just one he made from letters that he had written her. And like she basically said it is like every single letter her every email that he wrote to her and that she wrote to him from like 20 years ago to today's date. Well, I guess that time's date. Now, sharing that, he titled it The Greatest Love Story Never Told by Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck 2001 to 2021 and counting. Not anymore, but Lopez, placed the book in the studio and let her, collaborators go through it, basically for song inspiration. And that was actually to Ben's surprise and disappointment because, like in the past, the very thing he yearned for in this relationship with her was privacy. So all till now, she couldn't even recognize that and respect it enough to give him that. It's like she manifested her divorce all along. He even can be heard in the film saying, making a movie with your own money is the most famous cardinal sin in Hollywood. So even with Ben not being on board and J.Lo getting advised not to go forward with it from advisors, but also her husband and also her good friend Jane Fonda, she still did it, and the outcome was, well, what it was. And so as if the album, and then this sci-fi-ish movie to follow wasn't enough, well, she then followed both of those up with The Greatest Love Story Never Told, which is like a documentary that follows J.Lo as she independently produces her album and then the musical. It is meant to explore the challenges that she faced in the production process, which included the deals, falling through and celebrities being unavailable to appear in her film. It's meant to also showcase her journey to self-love and her rekindled relationship with Ben, but it literally just shows interview scenes, confessionals, and very unnecessary drama. So I don't know why she thought the world wanted this 3-part $2 million journey into her life and business, but nobody asked for it, nobody wanted it, and almost nobody enjoyed it. This was a $20 million desperate attempt to rebuild her brand and her image, and it unfortunately just fell very short. Her This Is Me Now tour sold virtually no tickets, so she had to cancel it. And ultimately, her goal of this being her lemonade moment just didn't work out for her. I want to leave you with the most desperate attempt to relate to society that J.Lo has ever made. In an effort to be relatable and flaunt her New York upbringing, Jenny from the block became a newfound meme. As if the mockery wasn't already enough, a clip from Lopez's 2022 interview for Vogue's 73 Questions series shows when Lopez is asked what her go-to Bodega order is, to which she replies, ham and cheese on a roll with an orange drink if you know, and a small bag of chips. Turns out no one knows what J.Lo's talking about. Fellow New Yorkers pointed to Lopez's choice of sandwich, which they claimed, was just bland in comparison to other signature Bodega offerings. Now, one person on TikTok said, anybody that's really from New York, I'm from Brooklyn, she's from the Bronx, whatever it is, knows that it's not just a ham and cheese sandwich. It comes with a whole bunch of other stuff on it, and it just rolls off the tongue. Many took issue with Lopez's choice of beverage, which they said could be a multitude of things, like Rush Orange Soda, Sunny D, Fanta Orange, Sunkist Orange Soda, what is it? Some even questioned whether she was actually from New York. One of her fans did defend her, saying, back in the day, you would get a sandwich combo, a small bag of chips, and a drink. That order she has is super common. People are just being weird. J.Lo did go on to defend her answer, saying, haha, I know that there was a lot of talk about it, but the orange drink was basically, it's just this plain orange drink. It came in a little plastic container with a little bit of aluminum foil over it, and it wasn't called anything except orange drink or grape drink or whatever. This blew up on social media with people saying that the Bronx and the hood are tired of her. And honestly, it just gave people another reason to cringe, but I'm sure in due time she will bless us with another meme-worthy moment, and this will all be forgotten.
It's final, almost. J.Lo and Ben Affleck are getting a divorce, and things are quickly moving towards the finish line. There's still a few weeks before the divorce is official, but it's been revealed that things have been settled and agreements have been reached despite the couple not having a prenup. The lack of prenup shocked people when they first found out. Prenups seem like something that you always hear about in Hollywood, almost an unspoken mandatory rule, since oftentimes the parties entering into Hollywood marriages have so many valuable assets. Even for the public though, a prenup isn't really that strange anymore. Both Affleck and Lopez were wildly successful and wealthy before they married, and they only made more money during their marriage. Without a prenup in place, people were convinced that things were going to become ugly when it came to negotiations. There was a possibility that everything could be thrown into a pile and divided 50-50. While both parties were already wealthy before entering the marriage and continued to grow their wealth in it, like any other couple, One person's net worth is reported to be significantly larger than the others. Someone will always lose in that situation. But luckily, there seems to be love and respect between the pair still, because it's been reported that it wasn't all that bad during negotiations. In fact, from what TMZ reports the couple decided, it seems like they were more than civil with the decision making. TMZ shared that the celebs were going to walk away with what they came into the marriage with. Anything that they had before, it is theirs to keep. But that leaves the question, what about everything they made during the marriage or bought? Affleck famously founded his and Matt Damon's production company, Artist Equity, just 4 months after he married J.Lo. A movie they produced even featured Lopez as a main character. And Lopez worked not just on that project, but a number of other movies unrelated to her former husband's company, including her album and its accompanying visual experience and documentary. It turns out the couple also came to the agreement to let each other keep anything they made during their relationship. An amicable deal. I mean, both parties are already very well off, and then they worked really hard during their marriage. Why not let each other keep the fruits of their labor? But we're not quite done talking about the finances just yet. It was also apparently agreed upon that neither party would have to pay spousal support. This also happened with Ben's last marriage to Jennifer Garner. They made that decision too. At the time, one lawyer explained the mechanics behind this choice. Jerry Wang did not work on the Garner-Affleck split, but they did provide context, sharing that the length of a marriage affects how much spousal support one needs to dish out. Over 10 years, which Affleck and Garner basically reached, means that one party would have to give more than if they were married less than 10 years. The longer your marriage is, the longer you might pay support, you get it. The rules are a bit different for super rich celebrities though. It's all based on income and earnings, said Wang at the time, further explaining that sometimes the courts won't award spousal earnings or deem it necessary if it's clear that both parties are able to support themselves. That's why famous celebrities that are known to make millions on their work, they often waive the spousal earning stuff and aren't held to it like Garner and Affleck and Lopez and Affleck. It is clear from the divorce proceedings that the couple are still on good terms though. Before the end of last year, there were claims that Affleck and Lopez had met up to exchange holiday gifts. They actually were seen meeting up recently. It appeared that J.Lo was picking up her kid from Affleck's house. They were seen leaving the home with a large present-looking box, followed by Affleck. Lopez was also pictured hugging Affleck's son. It's clear that the family loved each other a lot. Both celebrities went into the marriage with children from previous marriages. They have spoken kindly of their family unit many times, and sources claiming to be close to the couple often shared that the family got along well. Ben Affleck was a parent to J.Lo's family for about 2 years, and vice versa. That doesn't just go away. A source close to the couple shared that even though they still hold love for each other and their families, the stars aren't looking to keep a co-parenting relationship. In fact, even though the divorce was already announced, Lopez, Affleck, and even Jennifer Garner were all spotted supporting their families in the same place. Having such talented actors for parents, that's definitely carrying down the lineage. Their kids go to the same school and were in a school play together, and all three parties were photographed looking very excited and supportive of the young actors. It's also been revealed that after the divorce, J.Lo will be changing her name. Admittedly, it's an expected change. She will be going from Jennifer Lynn Lopez Affleck back to just Jennifer Lynn Lopez. Makes sense. Really, J.Lo still went by Jennifer Lopez throughout the entire marriage because that's the name everyone in the world had called her for years, but she did sign some messages to fans and things of that nature as Jennifer Affleck. The big question is, what is the famous couple splitting? We know that they are both walking away with what they individually made during the marriage despite not signing a prenup or anything, but what about the money they made together or the things they simply purchased together, like their $61 million mansion, for example? The house was one of the first things that clued the general public into the beginning of the end. Celebrity gossip sites picked up on the fact that Ben Affleck had moved out of the mansion he shared with J.Lo and into a rental closer to his children about mid-2024. At the same time, TMZ revealed that J.Lo had been out house hunting. That was suspicious enough to get people talking, but then the couple's mansion suddenly quietly appeared for sale on the market and, well, everyone just came to the conclusion that the couple must have parted ways. It wasn't long after this that the divorce was actually confirmed. Being a luxurious mansion owned by famous Hollywood stars, it's reported to be filled with valuable art pieces. TMZ dropped the news in July of last year that the couple had listed many pieces from their collection and there were already interested buyers. At this point, the divorce was not announced or anything, so it was just another sign that things were unfortunately coming to an end. Whether or not it was true, the outcome was what everyone had predicted. It's unclear what remains inside the house today. When Ben was living at the rental, J.Lo did apparently remain living in the mansion. As it stands, TMZ reports that the couple did come to an agreement about about the home and presumably also its contents, but the details are confidential. It's all speculation and rumor now as the house is still on the market. But who is the person who helped this famous couple with no prenup come to an agreement when there are such valuable assets on the table? That would be Laura Wasser, and believe me when I say this is probably easy for her. After looking into this woman, I am sure that there is no one out there more qualified to handle the situation. She is a popular celebrity divorce lawyer, but there might be more to the story this time around as to why Affleck and Lopez selected her. She also mediated Affleck's divorce from Jennifer Garner a few years ago. They also apparently didn't have a prenup and also managed to agree on a property split. It's pretty clear why Laura was likely brought into the picture again, considering it's so similar to what happened last time. But if that wasn't enough to convince you she was right for the job, the lawyer has quite an impressive history of clientele. She was Kim Kardashian's representation during her divorce from Kanye. Britney Spears hired her for her divorce. She was Angelina Jolie's first lawyer during her divorce. She represented Johnny Depp, Drew Barrymore, Heidi Klum, and was the reason Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson had such an amicable split. Laura knows how to handle a room. There are way more big names that she has helped, but we would be here too long if I were to list all of them. The basic point is, there's probably no one else out there more qualified to handle the Affleck-Lopez divorce than this woman right here. Now that everything is allegedly settled, all the pair has to do is wait for the official finalization date, which is in just over a month, February 20th to be more specific. Is Jennifer Lopez all she seems? Some celebrities seem to think that she is hiding dark secrets. From a decades-old arrest, more relevant now than ever, to red carpet etiquette, to a vengeful ex, we get into it all. Kicking off with the current events, everyone knows that J.Lo and Diddy were a thing back in the day, but that short romance is now causing never-ending issues for Jenny from the block. Some people have started saying that she was involved in, well, all the bad things that Diddy was doing, which is a pretty serious thing to accuse someone of. Right now, it's not proven at all, and she isn't even charged, just to clarify. Although there was a serious chance that she would be called to court for Diddy-related reasons, and that was to testify against the rapper. Derek Lee Cardello Smith filed a $400 million lawsuit against Diddy and nearly called upon J.Lo as a witness. He believed that she had information about his incident since she dated the star. They weren't dating when it happened. It seems Smith just thought that Diddy might have told her about it. The case ended up getting dismissed. So J.Lo might not be named in any current lawsuit as someone who harmed someone else, or was she? Another suit, this one from Rodney Little Rod Jones Jr. was filed, and it referenced a club incident that happened at the end of 1999, right when Diddy and J.Lo were dating. But this club incident wasn't just a minor squabble, it was a weapon-wielding dramatic scene that ended in a celebrity car chase through downtown New York and the arrest of two famous music artists. New details revealed by Rodney Lil Rod Jones Jr. suggested that J.Lo might have lied about her involvement that night. Jones Jr. filed a civil lawsuit for non-consensual relations and harassment against Diddy, but it also seemed to possibly reference this 1999 incident as well. It claimed that on the day Homeland Security raided Diddy's home, he displayed his weapons and bragged about getting away with using these weapons against people. He claimed that J.Lo was the one who carried the firearm into the club for him and passed him the firearm after he got into an altercation with another individual. On the day, J.Lo was held for 14 hours before being cleared of all charges. It was believed that she was simply just present at the event but had little to no involvement. If she did in fact bring the weapon in like this lawsuit is claiming, then that would mean she wasn't entirely truthful about her role in the events that evening. Knight, a former record exec, is pretty confident that J.Lo did have more to do with Diddy than anybody thought. He referenced the club incident when talking about why he believed J.Lo and Ben Affleck were getting a divorce. He thinks it happened because of some tapes found in Diddy's home. Knight's theories were shared on his podcast, claiming that when the FBI raided Diddy's home, they would have found some tapes featuring Jenny from the block. He said, they go raid Puffy's house and they get all these videos of J.Lo doing this and J.Lo doing that, and they know for a fact that J.Lo lied and said that the weapon was someone else's or whatever and sent that man to prison, destroyed his life, and she knew it was Puffy's. So this is a pretty major accusation considering that people were hurt in that club fight, but as of right now, there is no concrete evidence to back up his claims. But J.Lo is no stranger to lawsuits. She's been dealing with them since the start of her career, thanks in no small part to her ex-husband, Awani Noah. Today, he's an actor and a model, but he was once only known to the world as J.Lo's first husband. The marriage only ended up lasting like a year. The couple clearly realized that with J.Lo's fame, they weren't compatible anymore. She felt like that he resented her fame, and honestly, she was kinda right. Based on the times he said that he wasn't a fan of the big red carpets and apparently preferred her to stay at home and he be the breadwinner. He claims that the pair would often get into arguments but have to look fine for the cameras minutes later, and it was really frustrating. Eventually, they parted ways, but the break didn't stay clean for long. Noah had experience in the restaurant industry. He started his own restaurant, worked in various positions over the years, so when J.Lo was looking for a manager for her brand new restaurant, she knew just who to call. She apparently said that she still thought of Noah as family and wanted to take care of him, promising not to fire him without just cause. Guess what happened? He ended up taking her to court over it and ended up winning, actually, but that was the last time that he would take her to court and win. Because they did go to court later on, multiple times, for multiple different reasons. He never won though, because most of the cases centered around him sharing details of their past relationship in some way, something that he agreed to not do in writing. The first was a book that he wrote that contained details of their time together that was also going to allege that J.Lo cheated. Court documents are floating around somewhere that revealed that this section existed. A few years after the book incident, he threatened to release private home videos of the couple on their honeymoon. Allegedly, the videos would be used to create like a movie or something about J.Lo. J.Lo did not want her personal life on display like that and sued the man for $10 million, and his movie was never made. J.Lo's red carpet etiquette has been under fire for years, but it recently went under a microscope in 2024. Taking into account everything with her movie slash like documentary slash album, plus her recent divorce, people really were looking for any opportunity to tear into the woman. The biggest incident was the Met Gala red carpet. TikTok star Annika Reed was present as an interviewer, and people did not appreciate the way J.Lo spoke to her. She actually only said one word, but one word caused a lot of trouble. So Reed asked the star who she was wearing as J.Lo was walking up the Met Gala steps. With only a glance over, J.Lo responded with the quick Scaparelli before continuing up.
What are you wearing tonight? Scaparelli, my love.
Reed, of course, posted the video to her TikTok. Her caption suggested that she didn't really mind J.Lo's response, but the comments sure did. Many people called J.Lo out for being rude, one person saying Reed receiving a rude J.Lo interaction was the J.Lo experience. In comparison, other celebrities that answered Reed's questions, they answered with big smiles and the occasional full interview. But there is one person that can say that they hated J.Lo before it was cool, and that is movie star Rosie Perez. They met pretty much at the beginning of both of their careers. They worked on the show In Living Color together, and on paper seemed like they would get along because they grew up in the same place, they shared similar interests, the auditions were apparently awesome. Where did things go wrong though? Well, Perez's 2014 memoir fills in some details. It alleges that J.Lo was a nightmare to work with. Allegedly, many of the other dancers would come to Perez to complain about her, and that J.Lo was manipulating wardrobe, makeup, and Perez all to her advantage. Lopez stuck with the show for 2 seasons, but Perez claims that their feud lasted long after that. But I guess more because Lopez wanted it to? She claimed that Lopez would make negative comments about her to important people in the entertainment industry, but then would act nice to her face. Perez even recounted a time she came face to face with J.Lo while out on the town. Apparently, Lopez spotted Perez and approached smiling, but Perez was having none of it and told her off. Social media star Samantha Barbash exposed that J.Lo essentially made a movie about her life without her approval. Barbash was the inspiration behind J.Lo's critically acclaimed film Hustlers. Samantha, however, does not appreciate the film and actually sued J.Lo and her production company for defamation. Samantha shared her perspective in an interview with TMZ. She said, "They basically stole my story. I wouldn't sign my rights away. I wasn't giving away my film and TV rights for peanuts. J.Lo doesn't work for free? Why would I?" Further claiming that 87% of the film was wrong. Samantha's case was ultimately dismissed. Alright, so Rosie Perez might have been the first person ever to have a feud with J.Lo, but there is one celebrity whose feud with J.Lo is so famous it has reached stan Twitter fame, and that's Mariah Carey's. This feud has allegedly lasted for over 2 decades now, and it seems there's still no end in sight. It all started when, after signing her record deal, J.Lo worked with Tommy Mottola, aka Carey's ex-husband. Now, it wasn't like Carey immediately faulted anybody that works with her ex-husband, especially someone she doesn't know. They're both in the music industry, they're gonna work with lots of people. Apparently, the reason the foundation for a seemingly lifelong rivalry was laid was because Carey wanted to sample a never-before-sampled song. but then her ex stole it out from under her essentially and gave it to a J.Lo track. I mean, I'm sure that Carrie understood that the decision was more her ex's decision than J.Lo's choice. However, the media decided to employ its classic trick of pitting successful women against each other for the purpose of fun gossip, and things just spiraled from there. J.Lo made some comments, Carrie said some things, but the most famous, memeable statement that came from this was, "I don't know her." It came about in 2003 and it is still going strong. Another iconic shady remark happened in 2001 though. After J.Lo had said that she sleeps 8 hours a night, Carrie said, "If I had the luxury of not actually having to sing my own songs, I'd do that too." J.Lo's songs are known to have vocals from other singers in the background and sometimes even as the primary voice. Then in 2002, Carrie was once again asked about her feud with Jenny from the Block, to which she said, "There are rivalries, but I don't think she has anything to do with me. I mean, my whole thing is singing, writing songs. It's a God-given talent I'm grateful for. Her thing is something different." So it's been made pretty clear that Carrie is aware of and has formed an opinion on J.Lo. In 2014 though, J.Lo said that there was no feud and that she was a big Mariah Carey fan.
Jennifer Lopez has been a hot topic for decades, but for all the wrong reasons. Here's some scandals everyone just pretends never happened. It seems that the world has forgotten about the club firearm discharging that led to Jennifer Lopez and Diddy's arrest in 1999. The celebs were dating at the time and decided to enjoy a night out at a club in New York. A fight broke out after Diddy reportedly bumped into another club-goer's drink. The conflict escalated and rounds were eventually fired, some of which Diddy was allegedly responsible for. 3 bystanders were wounded as a result of the blasting, with one of the victims named Natanya Rubin actually getting hit in the face. To this day, she says Combs is responsible for her injuries. She said she still has fragments remaining in her face. Later that same night, Diddy and Lopez were actually pulled over for a traffic violation. They were then arrested after a stolen firearm was found in the trunk of their car. Lopez's jail stay was brief and Diddy was later acquitted, so it seems that this former couple wasn't severely punished for their alleged crimes. Still, the eventful night appeared to have a lasting impact because it led Diddy to change his name. The rapper revealed during an interview with MTV News in 2001, "No more Puff Daddy. The first week in June, we're gonna have a name change ceremony. I'm not doing it as serious as Prince, but I just want something fresh. I'm rocking with P. Diddy now." In 2013, Jennifer Lopez was in a PR scandal after performing at a Turkmenistan event. The singer sang happy birthday to the then President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov during the gig. Now at the time, Human Rights Watch ranked the former Soviet Republic's government as one of the world's most oppressive leaders. Also, the president was tagged as an authoritarian who imprisoned and tormented citizens who criticized his regime. Given the leader's bad reputation, J.Lo's performance landed her in very hot water. Human rights activists criticized the celebrity for not only receiving nearly $2 million for her gig, but also indirectly standing for human rights violations. Eventually, Jennifer apologized in a statement, noting that she wouldn't have attended the concert if she had known the country's human rights record. One of Jennifer Lopez's scandals that stands out to date, but everyone acts like it never happened, is the intimacy tape scandal involving the star and her first husband, Ohani Noah. The former couple tied the knot in 1997, but their marriage ended very quickly in 1998 after only 11 months together. Noah was a waiter at a Cuban restaurant in Miami Beach when Lopez first met him, but he had aspirations to be the next Ricky Martin. He said post-divorce that he was just like Ricky Martin when he sings, and that he wanted to be famous and respected for what he does, just like J.Lo. At the time of their separation, Ohani had signed a non-disclosure agreement with the singer. The document prohibited him from revealing any personal details of their time together. However, Jennifer sought legal action after Ohani threatened to make the tape from their honeymoon public. At the time, Ohani's business partner, Ed Meyer, revealed that there were loopholes in the contract, adding that they were going to make the tape very public. He told In Touch magazine, saying, "We are going to produce a DVD and also have a streaming release of J.Lo's home footage." For a grueling 6 years, beginning in 2003, Jenny from the Block blocked Noah and Meyers' efforts in court and eventually won the case, barring him from releasing their private home videos or a movie titled How I Married Jennifer Lopez, the J.Lo and Ohani Noah story, or even a tell-all book. The man has tried it all and failed. However, the court eventually obtained the 11-hour-long master tape footage from Ohani and ensured he didn't make copies, stopping all of his malicious plans. It sits now in a central depository per court order. It's alleged now that he said he has some compromising videos of J.Lo and Diddy, but who knows if that's true. He seems to be an opportunist who keeps looking to stay relevant, so I doubt there's much truth to that, but time will tell. In June 2024, Jennifer made the headlines after receiving harsh criticism from Meghan McCain. In an episode of her Citizen McCain podcast, the former View co-host described the pop star as a deeply unpleasant person. Meghan said, "I too share similar negative stories that apparently the world does too. I actually feel bad right now because we're turning to a point where there's bullying happening to J.Lo." The political commenter recalled an off-putting encounter with the pop star when she appeared on The View. Meghan remembered Jennifer bringing like the biggest entourage she had ever seen. She said, "Her team was more than Kim Kardashian and any other guest. I just don't really understand why it was needed." Meghan also noted that Jennifer wasn't nice during her time on the show. She also added, "I was a host at The View. She was not nice. You don't always have to be so nice, but it was surprising that people like Kim Kardashian couldn't be more delightful. When you're coming on a show for a 10-minute segment, just fake it till you make it for 10 minutes. To be fair, Lopez does have a reputation for being a diva in like the fullest sense, but to be even more honest, Meghan is the last person who should be casting stones on that front. Meghan clearly feels bad about Lopez being bullied, and you can tell by the way she proceeds, to blame Lopez for allegedly having a TikTok video pulled where Meghan said she wasn't her favorite guest. It was a pretty bold claim with zero evidence that ended up being refuted by Meghan's own team. Yikes. One of her reps actually said, "We do not know how or why we received a violation notice. We pressed, appeal, and the video was reinstated in a few hours." McCain's guest at the time, reality TV producer Carlos King, took a moment to actually defend Lopez. He recalled a time that he met J.Lo back in 2001 and found her to be charming. He said, "She was so nice and she didn't have a big entourage. I went to see J.Lo in Vegas and it's my top 5 shows I've ever been to in my life. She performed and danced for like 90 minutes straight with no break. She's a hard worker and I was shocked that people weren't buying the tickets." So there's that. In 2017, Jennifer Lopez was embroiled in another scandal. This time, the drama was all thanks to the movie star's then partner Alex "A-Rod" Rodriguez. Reports revealed the former baseball star allegedly exchanged a string of X-rated texts with a much younger fitness instructor, Lauren Hunter. Although Lauren claimed she wasn't intimate with A-Rod after he started dating Jennifer, she said he begged her for these X-rated photos a week after the power couple went public with their romance. As expected, the cheating scandal reportedly left J.Lo feeling devastated. Insiders claimed the star was completely caught off guard, heartbroken, and in disbelief that A-Rod would betray her. Now, according to Hunter, on May 13th of that year, A-Rod asked her to meet him 4 days later in Kansas City, where he would be working as an on-air commentator for Fox for the Yankees vs. Royals game, while Lopez was actually filming in New York City. Hunter, who has 3 children, including one with Los Angeles Raiders Hall of Fame running back Marcus Allen, wasn't able to make the trip because she couldn't arrange childcare. A-Rod never spoke on this publicly, and Jennifer just wanted the whole thing to quietly, sit in the shadows, which honestly it kind of did, because this was my first time learning about it. Over the years, Jennifer has been involved in a series of dramas involving her and her backup dancers. In 2022, she was the center of attention for the wrong reasons after reportedly conducting a dance audition for her tour. Glee star Heather Morris called out Jennifer Lopez, claiming she had the most bizarre selection process. During an appearance on the Just Saying with Justin Martindale podcast, Heather claimed Jennifer cut potential dancers based on their astrological signs. Heather explained that, J.Lo, she walked into the room, and said, "Thank you so much. You guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you please just raise your hand?" In the end, Jennifer allegedly asked all of the Virgos to leave after like a full day of auditioning. Jennifer Lopez has paid millions to try to keep some big secrets out of our reach. Unfortunately for her, even money won't keep these in the dark. An alleged inappropriate tape scandal secret. Now, the singer's intimate videos recorded by her first husband, Ohani Noah, have been the subject of a very complicated legal battle for years. Her ex-husband's business partner, Ed Meyer, planned to unveil the film telling a tale of their failed marriage. Jennifer Lopez had filed a $10 million lawsuit against ex-husband Ohani Noah, whom she claims is violating a confidentiality agreement in place since 2004 by shopping around a honeymoon video the two made back in 1997. The video, which was called How I Married Jennifer Lopez, the J.Lo and Ohani Noah story, apparently includes Lopez wearing very little clothing and supposedly being intimate with Noah. It reportedly also contains a fight between her and her mother. Lopez and Noah first met at a Cuban restaurant in Miami, where he was working actually as a waiter. They married in February of 1997, but divorced only 11 months later. And Noah would go on the record much later and say their relationship changed after Lopez catapulted to the next level of stardom. He said, "Jen loves being in love, but she's been engaged 6 times now. I was husband number 1, and she told me I was the love of her life. When we laid in bed on our wedding night, she said we would be together forever." He then continued by saying, "We fell in love when she was already famous, but during our marriage, she became a mega star. For years, it was too painful to talk about. I wanted to lie low and live my life, but when I saw she got married to Ben, who is a good guy, the feelings all came flooding back." It sounds to me like he still loves her, right? Now, the master tape of all the footage was in a central depository per court order, but Meyer believed at the time that they had a legal loophole after Lopez withdrew her claims while the case was in arbitration. Meyer had said, "We are going to produce a DVD and also have a streaming release of the J.Lo home video footage. There is a revealing video of her with lack of clothing and inappropriate situations, especially in the hotel footage from the honeymoon." He added that the footage will shock her fans and claimed that he had unfinished business with Lopez as he continued to expose her personal side. A Los Angeles judge had ordered Noah not to release the video while the case was being decided. In 2007, she won $545,000 in damages and attorney fees in another lawsuit that blocked Noah from publishing a ghostwritten tell-all book. Lopez claimed Noah demanded $5 million to keep from publishing the book. Lopez believes the video footage and proposed film are exploitative and offensive and would damage her career and reputation, which is fair. Noah disputed the claim, saying, "It's a movie about my life. They're trying to ruin my life again. She don't want me to succeed, and that's the problem." The legal drama itself is probably worthy of a telenovela, but the judge agreed with Lopez, and ultimately the tape will sit in that depository until forever. This next secret is alarming, but also surprising, because despite her failed attempts at trying to keep it out of the public, it is public for people to see, but many people aren't aware of it. This is the Jennifer Lopez criminal secret scandal. This dates back to 2015 and involves illegal substances, fraud, and payola, which is the practice of bribing someone to use their influence. You learn something new every day. Now, accusations are that J.Lo spiked a Sony label executive's drink and took them back to her house, where she then gifted them with numerous amount of things in exchange for streams and sales. It was also alleged that she actually took part in this deed more than 8 times over the span of like 3 months from March 2015 to June of 2015. J.Lo never responded to these allegations. However, on June 2nd, 2015, her debut single, If You Had My Love, spiked 88 spots to number 15 on the US daily Spotify charts before falling 81 spots to 106 the following day. Many believe this is one of the many times where label executives, gave Lopez exactly what she wanted. The same song would have random and strange spikes on platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube, etc., all helping, to push the song on the Hot 100. When a blog posted on this incident, Jennifer lost over 50,000 followers on Instagram and Twitter, and the hashtags boycott J.Lo and J.Lo payola began trending, with, boycott J.Lo being the #1 trending hashtag at the time. The following day, Kiss FM announced they would be cutting ties with J.Lo, and 3 days later, her song was actually removed from Spotify playlisting. Interesting. Jennifer has never spoken out about this, of course, and her mental state during it and how she felt about it. She actually hasn't even mentioned it once, so I guess we'll never know. Jennifer Lopez's name has surfaced in a $400 million essay lawsuit against her ex-boyfriend Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy has so many allegations right now. Honestly, it's hard to keep up with who's accused him of this, who is suing him with that. It's a lot, but this case will be unforgettable because this case was filed by Michigan inmate Derek Lee Cardello Smith, who's actually serving his own sentence for an essay case of his own. He alleges that Diddy spiked his drink and essayed him during a 1997 after party. Court documents actually, revealed plans to call Jennifer Lopez as a witness, citing her past relationship with the rapper from 99 to 01 as potentially helpful for providing, relevant insights. Cardello Smith alleges he first met Diddy while working as a bartender at a bar that Diddy would sometimes show up at. His claim is that Diddy invited him to a private after party at a hotel in Detroit where the rapper offered him a drink that was allegedly laced with an unknown illegal substance. According to the lawsuit, Cardello Smith said he felt unstable, a little woozy, actually lost consciousness, and later woke up to Diddy engaging in intimate acts with a woman. He alleges that Diddy actually said to him, "I did this to you too," upon, noticing that he had regained consciousness, woke up, and was actually watching them. Jennifer Lopez has not publicly commented on the allegations, but her potential involvement has captured widespread attention. Speculation, suggests her testimony could provide crucial insights, into Diddy's character during the time of their relationship. The mention of Jennifer Lopez has added a new dimension to the case, fueling public interest. And while it remains unclear whether Lopez, would have testified or not, her involvement could have influenced the trajectory of the lawsuit and bring additional attention to the allegations against Diddy. Now, Diddy's legal team has labeled it as baseless, and that Cardello Smith mentioned 2 different locations for this alleged incident. They are also arguing that the claims were filed past the statute of limitations. Jennifer will likely keep doing what she's been doing, which is nothing, and just stay completely silent on the matter, so I doubt we'll hear anything further from her. But some new reports have actually come out and said that the case has actually been dismissed by a Michigan court. The legal proceedings apparently hit a snag when Lopez was unexpectedly pulled into the case, leading to the judge's final ruling on January 22nd, 2025. Now, according to court documents, the federal judge rules that, Cardello Smith's lawsuit was indeed filed too late, beyond the statute of limitations. The judge explained that when the alleged incident occurred in 97, the law allowed just 3 years to file claims, making Cardello Smith's 2024 lawsuit invalid. The court officially dismissed the case with, prejudice, meaning the accuser cannot bring the same allegations again in the future. Now, the court also dismissed Diddy's request for monetary sanctions against Cardello Smith for legal fees, although the judge stated that this could be reconsidered depending on future actions. Lastly, we have a big secret J.Lo never wanted the public to catch wind of. It's the story of how she has shamelessly stolen songs and vocals from other artists. Jennifer Lopez has been seen as someone who has mastered it all: dancing, acting, singing. The singer rose to fame after her role as Selena in the self-titled biopic. Now, though her singing career has brought her much fame and success, Lopez has been known to frequently rip off other artists. The Latina artist has had a habit of just borrowing vocals from other artists and passing them off as her own. Although this is not uncommon in the music industry, it is a clear, case that in J.Lo's situation, she's lip syncing to these vocals. They aren't hers. Interestingly enough, Lopez has many well-known artists who have picked up the slack for her vocally, including Ashanti, Brandy, and Christina Milian. Some critics and fans have accused her of using ghostwriters, auto-tune, and stealing vocals. One notable example is the controversy surrounding her hit single If You Had My Love back in 1999. Now, If You Had My Love is arguably one of Lopez's, signature songs. It serves, as her debut single. Now, released in 99, the single charted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for about 5 weeks straight. The chorus, however, was sung by Shinette Harrell. Now, Harrell's vocals are mixed like background vocals, so we can't really blame J.Lo too much, but another one is Get Right, and it's definitely a fan favorite from J.Lo because it's super catchy. Now, producer Rich Harrison wrote the song alongside Usher, and it was originally recorded for Usher's 2004 album Confessions. After the song failed to make the album, Harrison passed the track to Lopez Lopez as an apology for giving one thing to A-Marie instead of her. Usher apparently did not sign off on this though and demanded publishing rights. Now, My Love Don't Cost a Thing is one of J.Lo's biggest singles and solidified her status as an icon. The song is rumored though to be about the singer's ex Diddy, and although, you know, again, this song is one that has become her most famous song, there was no background singer listed for the track, so it's hard to say whose vocals are on the track, although it is rumored to be Keneally Cox's. Now lastly, Jenny from the Block. It's definitely Lopez's trademark song. We just can't imagine it being anyone else's, right? But with J.Lo, that isn't the case because the song was another attempt to boost the singer's street cred, and it featured Jadakiss and Style P's. Now, the voice on the single actually belonged to Natasha Ramos and was used after she kind of basically demoed the track for Lopez. Ramos's voice shares a striking resemblance to Lopez, so of course no one really noticed.